Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Psychonaut Sessions. Today we are continuing our Ultraverse series. I'm here with my fellow co-host Aaron Conaway. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm ready to rock some more mantra.
Yeah, let's do more mantra. I shouldn't have said it like that. Let's read more mantra. God, that was not. I literally did not mean that. As you well
Yeah.
know, as like I mentioned in the first issue of mantra, my my old man sensibilities are like, oh man, can they cover some of this shit up? Like that's kind of where I'm
I'm
at
older
with
than
all
you, and I
this.
don't have those sensibilities, but I also don't have children, so maybe that
Yeah,
just comes with the territory.
yeah. So here we are, mantra number 2. Terry Dodson actually did this cover. He didn't do cover number 1. Um,
I actually like this cover better than number one.
yeah, it is better than number 1's. Terry Dodson actually starts coming into his full form as an artist here. I actually felt like issue 1, and I think in this issue 2, I'm starting to feel like his art is getting constrained with the
I can see that.
panels.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, he's more of like a pin-up artist. He's a cover artist. He's big images he does great with.
When he does action really well, I think it's just. I think you're right. I think it's the panel layouts kind of pin him in a little.
Yeah, yeah. So, all right. Well, thank you, Ultraverse, for keeping that cover grid going. You know, I like that, the cover box. So where we left off, Wrath killed Lucas. Lucas is inside of Eden's body. Wrath shows up at Eden's house. Here we go. Not a bad cover page, I guess. It's
Except
fine.
from here, like on your screen anyway, it looks like Eden doesn't have a left eye.
Yeah, it's like the
Oh, okay, there it is.
yeah, the perspective is a little like it's a wonky perspective.
Yeah, no, I'm
But
fine with it. I just,
it
yeah,
does look like one of his first times maybe doing that perspective. I didn't look that up, but apparently this has got to be some of his earlier stuff. The printing of this is off. Can you see?
yeah,
It's the whole printing is awkward.
right.
As we kind of get into this, I don't know if it's Alvey's inks, nothing against him, or Terry Dodson's pencils, or the colorist. Who is the colorist again?
This one is Moose.
Moose, yeah,
Moose Bauman.
Bauman. Again, I don't know if that's a pseudonym for a group of guys or a single guy. We were corrected in one of our videos by a
Yeah.
fan that one of the issues we covered was actually a single dude. But anyway, Wrath shows up at her house, and immediately she turns into her outfit. And immediately he starts in with, well, he calls
So
her Mrs. Blake in quotes.
here's where I'm confused already, though. So,
Yeah.
like, is that Wrath or is it Warstrike?
I don't remember what was his name.
I mean, I'll say here in a second, but the dude that I don't know if for sure that the dude that showed up at the door at the end of the first issue is the dude that killed Lucas.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's the same.
Maybe it is, but
Yeah. Here we are, like having to do our homework on screen.
right.
Maybe his name is Warstrike. What is his damn name, by the way?
Well, in Mantra 2,
Warstrike. His
Okay,
name
okay.
is Warstrike.
That's what was throwing me off. I was like, I know Warstrike is credited, or Dan Danko is credited in issue 2 for creating Warstrike.
Yeah, it's him. It's
Okay,
Warstrike.
okay.
I said Wrath earlier, and guess what? Wrath is another Ultraverse character.
Makes
God
sense.
damn, these 90s names, man. There was X-Force comic I was looking at the other day where the character's name was Cruel. His name,
Nice.
and he would go around saying cruel rules. I was like, Jesus God. Right, so he's coming in. He knows that Eden is actually a man, and immediately is all like, nice outfit. And she tries to knee him in the nuts. And of course, he's like, I always wear a cup. That's not something you need anymore, is it? And the kids are like, Mom. And she sends them away. So she's going back and forth between outfits here. And then, of course, Lucas immediately again defaults to like, please don't kill me, and trying to play
right
at being a sappy woman. So anyway, he basically says, I'm not going to kill you. I already killed you. But I want to undo, or like he was lied to by Notch, he says. I don't understand really what Notch lied to him about. I
assumed it happened off panel.
Yeah, it wasn't clear. But he wants to, it wasn't the job that he signed on for, so he wants to help. So they sit down for coffee. And she asks, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like, you killed me, you came back, and
let's have some cup of joe.
He says he has some kind of like precognitive sense, and that he saw her face after seconds after like he killed Lucas, and so when he ran into her in the alley, he kind of put two and two together and followed her. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, you can call me Warstrike. I told you I let Notch use me. I don't like being used. I'm going to make this right, or at least as right as I can. So I don't know what he thought he was going to do, but pretty much it's like, you know, well, get out for now because this is crazy. And he's like, don't worry to your pretty little head about that, Blue Eyes, which is like, oh my God, really? And pushes him out the door, and he's like laughing.
Sure.
What? It's like, I killed this guy. Now he's like traumatized and in this like woman's body and is freaking out. And then it's like, don't worry, your pretty little head, Blue Eyes, and then just leaves and laughs. Like, what?
Very mercenary gallows humor.
I guess so. So we get basically a few panels of Lucas just being like, oh my gosh, I don't remember ever being so tired in anybody. And he just like conks out because being a woman is tiring. And wakes up. The kids want to go to school or get ready to go to school. She didn't pack a lunch because she didn't know how to do any of that, and just gives them a bunch of money. And they're like, all right, and excited, and take off. And then we get like a couple of scenes where he's like, okay, it's time to actually clean up and shower as a woman and know what that's like, and complain about women having too much hair.
I think part of this for me was, okay, so I don't think, had I read Mantra back in the 90s as like a graphic novel, I don't think it would have worked. I don't think this lends itself so far to binge reading. Like waiting a month in between and having that little reminder.
Yeah.
Like, and it gets ridiculous. It gets beyond reminder, but we'll get into that here in a second.
Yeah, it's one of those things of like the Jim Shooter scenario of like where you're having to catch the reader up again after a month each time.
And that doesn't lend itself to a binge read or a one sitting graphic novel situation, because it's like, I know. Well, even the scenes, like she's once again, Lucas is having to like maneuver this body, maneuver around the kids, maneuver around men in the world, and like we don't. Eventually, it does, but it's eating a lot of pages, rehashing all of that each time.
Yep. So we do get a scenario here where he decides to go back to work, or where she works, to just try to like, okay, I'm going to keep life going for this person so as to kind of blend in and not cause an issue.
Well, he wants money too, right?
Yeah. And he needs, to make money. And then the kids' dad shows up with a check, child support check. And they talk, and basically, decides like, hey, can you take me out to lunch, or can I take you out to lunch? And Lucas is like, sure. And like while they're talking, he's asking about the kids, and he's like, "This guy seems like a great guy. The divorce must have been her fault. No man in his right mind would divorce this body." It's like, Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Well, and he's misreading it. Yeah, I mean, that's more like Lucas. Yeah, I don't know. I took that as Lucas just being not the most adept at 90s life, I guess.
Well, that, and he's like, he's just been this hardened like warrior fighting for centuries. He doesn't have the capability of being able to understand domestic life in any way,
Right.
shape, or form. Regardless, and then he's thrust like right into it where he's having to interact as a mom of all things.
Right.
This is where I started noticing the colors where like they almost seem like so heavily saturated where Terry Dawson's pencils and Alve's inks almost kind of get lost sometimes in it, and
Yeah.
some of the color choices are like these heavy greens. Just it started making it really hard for my eyes, actually.
Gotcha.
Um, let's see. We get a scene of Archmage being imprisoned by Boneyard, and this is like in Archmage's like alternate dimension realm that he's in, and I didn't notice this before. So he grabs this rat and puts this rat in his like belt crotch belt, and the belt buckle
Eats
bites
it.
his head off, and then he
Yeah.
throws it at Archmage's face. Like, I don't remember reading that at all as a kid. I was like, what the um all right, so he's getting ready to go out. He's going to go to some kind of like gala or something where supposedly he'll find out more about the mask, or the mask might be there or something. And is trying to put makeup on, and so we get a scene of him like messing up putting makeup on, or just making himself look too gaudy.
Right.
Har. Here's Wrath.
There you go.
That's Wrath. All right, so shows up at the gala, and of course doesn't have tickets to get in. So how do you think he gets in?
Like, man, Eden was really sleeping on her looks in
I
her
mean,
life pre-Lucas. She could have just gotten away with everything.
is like I wouldn't mind it as a thing that happened every once in a while, but it's like every situation, that's what immediately he defaults to. So it's just a little hammed up. Although
Yeah.
they are highlighting the necklace.
The necklace, yeah.
So I
That's
wonder if that is like part of that is the magic working as well. Although the magic was elemental base, I think. Anyway, we'll get into it. Okay, so while Lucas is there, he notices Warstrike and decides to encounter Warstrike and be like, "Darling, it seems been ages since last night." And so the woman he's with gets all pissed off and takes off. So that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
And of course, the Dreadnoks are here. And
No, they're
so,
not actually called Dreadnoks, right?
yeah, I know. It's just that you
Okay.
said it the
Yeah.
first issue, and
Just a
so now in
shorthand.
my head it's Notch and the Dreadnoks. And so Archmage's goons. So they're there. So this is like the proprietor of the magic shop is like putting on this like gala or whatever, and so this particular item, the mask, is coming up as some sort of like, I guess, auction. I don't really know. I don't
Yeah.
like
That's
know.
how I took it, but I don't remember if that was
Yeah,
actually stated.
right. And so as soon as the mask shows up, the Dreadnoks, get all like funky in their real form. They start trying to grab it, but Lucas grabs it first. It falls out, and Lucas puts it on, and he's in his costume again. This scene was like this. So this is where I started noticing Terry's pencils not working for me. There's a huge difference between this and this,
Well, flip it more towards the beginning, because like a cover is different. You approach a cover different anyway. So like,
I know. It just
let me look at like one of the first couple of pages to see what you're talking about. Not that one, because that's got funky face. All right, now flip back to the page you're
I
on.
mean, even then, he's actually starting to struggle.
Yeah,
He's
yeah. At
struggling
this
with
point, I don't really see
backgrounds,
a ton of difference. They look similar to me.
struggling with perspective. This just doesn't have like flair. I get what he was trying to do with the lighting, but it just Mantra just gets kind of lost here.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know.
I do like the panel in the upper right on the
that works better.
right page. Yeah, I like that.
That
panel.
works better. So Mantra starts shooting magic out. Warstrike pulls out a gun, starts shooting. Not exactly my first choice for a second date. Haha. So it's like he's just being cheeky.
Yeah.
Shut up and fire, she says. And he's like, wait a minute, fire. Fire was one of the 4 mystical elements used in magic. And if that's the case, let's see if I have any luck with the other 3, because he shot out fire accidentally. If you recall from the first issue, caught a dude on fire. So then he's shooting water. So he realizes that he has power over all of the elements, including air. Now this was kind of cool. Notch comes to try to stab Mantra in the back, but the cloak just is like some kind of dimensional thing, and things just come right out of it. So I thought that was kind of cool.
No, that's very cool.
Yeah. More fighting ensues. Wars. This is again where things start to struggle. Here, these dreadnoughts start bickering again. Not just gonna be mad at you. Me, you let this happen to him. Just like, give me a break. Warstrike is surrounded by these dudes, and I don't know what that is. He almost looks like he's breakdancing.
Maybe he is.
So
Dance.
yeah, it's just like, and it's not like to criticize Terry Dodson. It's just that like I think his strengths aren't sequential panels. So anyway, it's they take off because the bad guy's lost, and he's like, "Oh, we make a good team." And she's like, "Bite your tongue," and he says, "Ladies first." I'm like, oh god, this guy's actually like a fucking sleaze too. So the proprietor of the magic shop is like, "Hey, that's my mask," and she's like, "Well, fuck you. You probably didn't like get it in a good way anyway, I guess," and just takes off. So we get our first scene of Mantra just like flying out in the city, like superhero style.
Right. Which is, then, I mean, I riff on that look a little bit with Phantom Stalker.
Yeah.
Like that billowed out cloak, situation. Mine, I aimed for more of a like Batman and Batman Begins type situation, but it's also lends itself here a little bit. This poofs out a little more than Phantom Stalkers does.
This is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And, you know, we got our moon shot because the moon comes into play in the future. This almost looks like Pac-Man in the background. And lands at the house and almost has like, woo, you know, kind of intimates that she's having a hard time landing. And apparently the kids were supposed to be with their dad. But the dad was like, Dad was going to take us to the movies, but he had a cow and I wouldn't tell him about any of your boyfriends. And they just dropped the kids at home because the kids wouldn't fucking tell him about her boyfriends. And so she's like, all right, I'll take you to the movies, you know. And this was weird. So getting ready, like starts kind of like looking at the body again and was like, who is he talking about? Warstrike's. So maybe I'd take over Warstrike's body and leave him trapped in here. That would be fitting. Let him learn what it's like to be a woman. So weak, so soft, so, and it's like, whoa, dude, god damn. Like there's like, they're really going there. Up. Really going there with this. And then knock, knock. Mommy, let's go. So buzzkill. And like, all right, going to the movies. They're going to go watch maybe either Hardcase, Jurassic Park, or Encino Man. So that tells you what was out in the theater around these times.
Right.
And they're getting popcorn, they're going in, and then you get this. I had no fucking clue what was happening. One. Some dude getting a ticket multiple times. All looking exactly the same. And then the kid is like, Mom, I have to go to the bathroom. And she's like, so, okay. Aren't you going to come in? No. So the kid's used to it. And then you get these guys coming in, like multiple man or something, and they're all finishing each other's sentences. And Lucas says, them again. They must be able to sense the mask somehow. When was them around?
Huh. Was that not them at the...
These weren't the Dreadnoughts.
No, those aren't the Dread. So...
Oh.
Yeah, right there.
Oh, so she just says if these Palookas aren't carrying enough firepower to overthrow a small country, I bet. Oh, I just assumed these were just regular guards in the background. I didn't realize they were...
The Repo Man?
Yeah. Huh. Okay. Well, that wasn't very clear. So they come up and finishing each other's sentences. They want the mask. She's, of course, like, screw you. And starts just burning them alive right in the middle of the movie theater.
Which, again, I'm cool. Was it so for a fighter, a mercenary across time? Moments like that, I was like, okay, cool, that makes sense. Like, just kind of forget, this isn't...
Oh, yeah.
This is going to blow my cover. It's more of a, nope, you're wiped out.
I mean, people are getting, they're blowing into the movie theaters themselves. It's like, whatever. Like, Lucas isn't thinking about, civilians.
Right.
And completely forgets about the kids. So a fight ensues. These guys were, jumping after her, but they actually jump into her cape and then get flung out, which is cool. Kind of like the knife. And the kids are like, where's mommy? And they knock Lucas out and bind Lucas down and basically telling him this is going to hurt. And that is issue number 2. We get some cool Malibu ads here for Gravestone and Protectors. And I loved this cover for Hero Illustrated.
Yeah, well, I mean, God, back then, anything with the Predator on it, I wanted.
Anything Alien versus Predator, especially. And we're getting ads for Exiles, which is what leads into Breakthrough, which is the first crossover. So yeah, that's number 2. It's okay. It's okay. It's starting to falter for me a little bit, just to be honest.
See, for me, this was a gear up. This shifted up for me from the first one, but the first one's pretty low. So so the dialogue in this one is very stilted. That was my main note that I made. Like, the dialogue gets real stilted, but I dug the Repo Men. I thought they were fun. Like, I liked the weird hive mind seeming situation with just a bunch of different bodies, and that battle seemed very like Army of Darkness, Evil Dead 2 silly to me. So I like this one. Was an improvement over 1 for me. I get that 1, a lot of the mileage was establishing what the world is, what the story is, who the players are. So I'm not faulting it a ton, but this was I thought a solid follow-up back when I was a kid, and it was a solid follow-up now.
They were okay. The Repo Men were fine. That confused me when she said them again. I didn't realize until now that it was those one dudes in the panel she barely mentions.
Right.
And I didn't realize that they were all twins or whatever. But yeah, they are a cool concept.
It is very multiple man, like Jamie Madrox, but without the quips.
Yep. Cool. All right. Well, you ready to take off and tackle number 3 next time?
I'm ready. I'm feeling the burnout a little on sticking with one title, or at least this title. I don't know if it'll happen with every title, but the breakup of having different titles come in, I can appreciate now.
Yeah, and it's it gives it having different, doing the different titles lends itself to like when things came out monthly, you know? You had a
Right.
little bit of break and replenishment, but yeah,
Well,
you're
exactly.
right.
Yeah. Like,
Reading these all at once is like,
well, it's like when you watch, a true crime, like a 2020 episode or something, and they have like an hour and a half episode, but it's only that long because they recap the case at each commercial break.
right,
And it's
right.
like, we don't need this. We know the kid. Let's go. And
Yeah,
so, again, I get it. It's a comic, and it didn't bug me that much as a kid, but I think it's like, to my point, because I had a month break. So having that little bit of a reminder was fine.
yeah.
But no, I'm ready. We can
All right.
we'll knock out issue 3 next time.
We'll knock out issue 3. Everybody like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Check out Aaron's website and all his information in the description. Buy his books, join his Patreon. Do the same for me. Stay safe out there. Keep it psycho.
Bye.